All the money in your hands, all the possessions anyone can ever have, but it's all worthless treasure. True worth is only measured not by what you got, but what you got in your heart. You can have everything, but what does it mean? It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you. And I stand up for you. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. You do the best that you can do. Then you can look in the mirror, proud of who's looking back at you. Define the life you're living, not by what you take, but what you're giving. And if you bet on love, there's no way you'll ever lose. Take a stand, make a stand for what's right. It's always worth the fight. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you, self-respect, dignity. If that's all you got, then you got all you need. And without that, you don't have a thing. Oh, no, no.
Rise up, love, lift your hands. I stand with you cause I understand. Ain't here to judge, just to take a stand. The greater plan's the creator's plan. Let's all rise like the day began. Reach out and touch with the Savior's hand. On rock we stand like his native land. Let the ways of love be the ways of man.
If you don't stand for something, you can't just talk the talk. You got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you. Yeah, I stand up for you. And I stand up for you. Stand up for you. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
We want the power for the people. That's all we ask in our country, please. The sick and the hungry, unable, protect them and those who may live in fear. We as the young wish to say in this song, God bless great America. We give thanks to the old for achieving their goal. It is now up to us, and we know we must build up a trust. And we want the power of the people. That's all we ask in our country, dear. The sick and the hungry, unable, protect them and those who may live in fear. Power for the people. Power for the people. Ignorance is a part of the challenge, but it's rough for some people to live. Disease moving fast, but it don't have to last. It is now the nation's turn for all to be concerned. We can be free and still. It is the people's will. We want power for the people. That's all we ask in our country, dear. The sick and the hungry, unable. Protect them and those who may live in fear.
That gets us going. Isn't that great? So good morning, everybody. We want to thank Blackduck High School and students for being here. We're delighted to highlight this fabulous community who is on the map up here in northern Minnesota with hundreds of others across the state. And thank you to our school and students out there across the state for joining us today. Please put your school name into the chat so we can do some shout outs to the 150 or plus schools who are joining us for one of our sessions today. We also want to thank the organizers of our statewide voter registration day, which is very exciting. Of course, I'm Michelle Whitty with the League of Women Voters of Minnesota. We have LWV Bemidji, the Office of the Secretary of State, the Minnesota GOP, Minnesota DFL, and thanks to District 622 for helping us with our videos. We have a special greeting today from our U.S. Senator, Amy Klobuchar, and her Senate opponent in this election, Royce White, who did a great promo video for us to use with GOP members at the Minnesota State Fair. So we'd like to share with you now, whomever you vote for, we're all in this together.
Hello, I'm Senator Amy Klobuchar, and in the United States Senate, I have the honor of representing the great state of Minnesota, where we have the highest voter turnout in the country. Voting is how we make our voices heard in our democracy. It's how we protect the freedoms that make our country great. It's how we decide America's future. That's why it's so important for you to register to vote. And in Minnesota, 16 and 17-year-olds can actually pre-register, so you'll be ready to vote right when you turn 18. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and make sure your voice is heard on Election Day. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, my name is Royce White. I'm your Republican nominee for United States Senate, joining you from the great Minnesota Get-Together. And I'm reaching out to ask our members to get high schools in your community signed up for National Voter Registration Day. 16 and 17-year-olds can now pre-register to vote too. Please help get our students voting ready for this election.
So anyway, here we are. We're now going to welcome Pete Ostadal, our social studies teacher here at Blackduck. But first, I want you to meet the classroom. Okay, I'm old school. Going to turn this around. There we are. Where are you, Blackduck High School? Look at them. Here we vote. All right. So thanks for being with us today and all of you out there. Great. Okay. Very good. Now I'm going to hand it over to Pete.
Good morning, Minnesota, and welcome from Blackduck. Now listen, sitting in your social studies classes, I'm sure you've heard a good deal about the problems society faces and how the adults have messed some stuff up. But what about solutions? As young voters, your vote sends a message to your representatives in government, which issues are important to you. Policies made now by the government may impact your life for years to come, in many cases far more than they will impact the older voters. So hear the voice of your social studies teacher in your head. Exercise your democratic power and get out there and register to vote. This year, for the first time in Minnesota, kids as young as 16 and 17 can pre-register to vote, so you're ready when your time comes. Now, as I'm sure you all remember perfectly from your civics classes, right? Each state in the US is in charge of running their own election, and the person who oversees that election in each state is called the Secretary of State. Now, as luck would have it, we have here with us the Secretary of State from Minnesota, Steve Simon.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, Minnesota, this is Steve Simon, Minnesota Secretary of State. Our biggest job at our office is that we oversee the election system. So I like to say we're in the democracy business. Today is a great day for the democracy business because it's National Voter Registration Day. That's really why we're here on this day in this place. And just to zoom out for a minute, you probably are familiar with the general concept that before you vote, you have to register to vote. And that term gets way overcomplicated and people imagine it to mean different things. Voter registration just means two things, not 20, not 8, 2. It just means you have to show that you are who you say you are and you live where you say you live. That's it, super simple. Now made even easier by what you've already heard about, which is the new law that allows not just 18-year-olds, but 16 and 17-year-olds to pre-register to vote. It means you're filling out the same form and you just can do it in about 2 or 3 minutes, super easy. You can do it online at our website, which is mnvotes.gov, mnvotes.gov. Super important to do before you vote. And you can even do it on game day, on election day. You can go to a polling place and you can register to vote if you're 18 already. Let me just give a quick plug for another way that you can get involved this year, or really any year. If you've ever been to a polling place, you know that the people who run the show that day, the folks who staff it, are called election judges. They're the poll workers who staff the polling place, but you may not have known that you can do that job as of age 16 in the state of Minnesota, not 18, 16. It's a paid opportunity. It's not a volunteer job. It is paid. You even get paid for the 2 hours of mandatory training that you do, much of which can be done in most places online. It's a great front row seat to democracy. They've got to let you out of school based on state law. They've got to let you off of work based on state law. Have I mentioned it's paid? It is paid. It's a paid opportunity, and it might look good on an application or a resume. So I want you to consider that. So today's a great day to focus our attention on not just this election, but all elections and the importance of registering to vote or pre-registering to vote, and then someday voting. Super important. So with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce a senior here at Blackduck High School, Caden Freeman. Now we have something in common. He was at Boise State and he was a statewide constitutional officer. That's what I am as Secretary of State. So was he in another capacity, a very accomplished young man. Please join me in welcoming Caden Freeman.
Good morning. When I was younger, my family said you can only vote one way, with the party. But I've grown to realize that it doesn't matter how you vote. If you like one party's candidate on an issue and another party's candidate on another issue, then you should vote your own conscience and not down a party line. The right to vote is a basic right of legal citizens of the United States, and we have a responsibility to exercise that right. If you don't vote, you are literally throwing your rights away. 10% of eligible voters in Minnesota are not registered, and I don't understand that. We are told that our votes don't count because of the Electoral College, but that is not logical. The popular vote in Minnesota determines what will happen with Minnesota's electoral votes. So every vote does matter. And it's not like the presidential election is the only one that matters. In fact, our senators, congressmen, our county commissioners, city councilors, and our school board have an even more effect on our day-to-day lives. And we need to exercise our right to vote for the candidates that we believe have our best interests at heart in those elections. Young people make up 21% of the eligible voter population of the United States, and 80 electoral votes are driven by young voters. If that entire 21% votes, then we can really make a difference. Get out there, register, and vote.
there, but we're now very excited to welcome to our event today, Deekshi J, a junior who's been contacting schools with us for National Voter Registration Day and who's hosting a special registration drive at her school in Eden Prairie High School. Hit it, Deekshi.
Hi, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be here. Again, my name is Deekshi, and like Michelle mentioned, I'm a junior at Eden Prairie High School, and I'm really excited to be here today and have this opportunity to talk to so many of you. And as you also mentioned, I'm currently an intern with the League of Women Voters, and I'm also a board member with the Youth Voter Project, which are both awesome bipartisan organizations behind NVRD, and I've been working very hard with them to bring this to you today. So again, voter registration, especially pre-registration, is so important because Minnesota is just currently one of few states to provide this opportunity for students younger than 18 to be involved in the process of voting even before we turn 18. So this means that we can get ready early, so when we turn 18, we're super ready to make the decision on who to vote for. So for me, getting involved in voter registration has been such an amazing experience. It's opened so many doors for me, and for example, like getting to meet Secretary Simon and other government personnel in person, connect with other ambitious teens with the same interests as me, and even being on a radio show with the League of Women Voters. It's all been so many amazing experiences that I wouldn't have gotten to have if um, if I hadn't been this involved with voter registration. So I'm so grateful to have met these amazing people along the way. And it's been such a rewarding experience. And I really encourage everyone, especially high school students who are looking to add something unique to their college applications, or even looking for a way to get involved in this election season, to be a youth ambassador and hold a pre-registration drive in your school. And it's super easy because in my school, we're doing this too. We're hosting a National Voter Registration Day at my drive, and we're teaming up with the League of Women chapter to have volunteers go around tables during lunch and encourage students to get pre-registered, and also share this recording later on to homeroom teachers so that they can show this presentation to their class and get students pre-registered that way also. So in closing, I encourage all of you to take this opportunity seriously. Every vote counts, and as we've seen in past elections, young voters like us can make a real difference. Getting involved is easier than you might think, and there are plenty of resources available to help you get started. Thank you so much, and I hope to see MN have the highest pre-registration rate this election season.
Awesome. Thank you, Deekshi.
Hi, my name is Brianna Harder, and I'm a proud social studies teacher at Camden High School in North Minneapolis. I am so excited about the great work that's happening in our state that is giving 16 and 17-year-olds the chance to register to vote. Even though you can't vote until you're 18, you will be ready to go to cast your ballot. And until then, a great way to be civically engaged in the election process is to be a student election judge. I have nothing but good stuff to say about this program. This gives young people an opportunity to work as an election judge, doing almost all of the things that election judges do in their neighborhoods, with their neighbors, friends, and elders, with their family, and it gives you a great educational and experiential way to learn about one of the key elements of our democracy. So sign up to be a student election judge, get registered to vote, and let's get out the vote.
Thanks, Brianna. We now have Ellen Cho joining us from the Blake School to talk about how she is engaging Asian American community to participate in our elections and why pre-registration is important to her. Take it over, Ella.
Hi, so good morning. My name is Ella Cho. I'm a senior at the Blake School in Minneapolis. And I am pre-registered to vote because I took a government class at my high school and became really passionate about civic engagement after it. I signed up to become a student election judge, and I am still working that role. And I am pre-registered to vote because even if I can't vote right now, I will be ready by the time I'm 18 to make the process as quick and easy as possible. And then I am sharing my passion for civic engagement with my Asian American community in Minnesota by hosting pre-registration drives. And I'm especially looking to engage the Hmong population in the Twin Cities, as they often go underrepresented during election seasons due to psychological and linguistic barriers in the voting process. And I urge everyone here, even if you aren't passionate about civic engagement, to pre-register to vote to make the voting process as smooth as possible.
Thanks, Ella. Great. So we're now going to welcome Aaron Scheel. Aaron is a junior at Minnehaha Academy to talk about his experience as an election judge.
Hey, everybody. I'm Aaron Scheel. I'm a junior at Minnehaha Academy. I've worked as a student election judge for 2 elections now. Gonna have a 3rd in November. Honestly, it's great. You get involved in the local politics. You learn a lot. You do basically every task that they do. It's honestly pretty easy. You just sit there for most of the day, and just get people registered. You rotate tasks. Looks great on resumes. Great pay, about $250 for the day. And it honestly just helps to figure out how the entire system in politics works. Anyways, so the reason it's important to pre-register to vote, so as working as an election judge, when people come into the polling place on election day and have to register, it does take time. So especially on more busy elections, it's helpful when more people pre-register. Plus, it holds you accountable to actually come to the voting office on election day if you do. And yeah, like I said, it just simplifies the whole process. You can be in and out of there in 3 minutes. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Aaron. Thanks for joining us live today. And now we have a special greeting also from Taven and Azalea at Duluth East.
Hi, I'm Tavin.
And I'm Azalea.
We go to Duluth East. We are so excited that so many students are looking forward to voting.
Make sure to register by October 15th. But remember, you can always register same day at your election precinct. Just remember to bring all of the required materials.
On election day, make a plan. Know where you need to be and when.
Go to Vote 411 to find more information about candidates and to preview a ballot before Election Day.
Awesome. Great. Now we want to take a look at some of the shout outs here for our schools. We've got schools who are logging in to let us know if you haven't had a chance to log in with your school yet, to be able to let us know you're watching live, let us know. But I want to go down the list here. We've got a lot of folks. We've got Minnesota Online High School, Fridley, ALC. Hey, I grew up in Fridley. East Central Schools, St. Anthony, Transition Plus Apple Valley, Cass Lake ALC, Minnetonka High School, Goat Skippers, St. Paul, Minnetonka High School, Mankato East, Edison. So everyone else, put your school name in as well, and we'll keep the day going. So now this is the time where students, you get to actually take out and use your devices. Normally they're telling you to put them away, but now I think you've got Chromebooks. Yeah, is that right in this classroom? But all of you out there, if you've got phones or whatever they're letting you use today, take them out so you can get pre-registered or registered if you're 18 and can vote and haven't yet had a chance to register. Please let us know that, and I'll come back and wrap up at the end too with the other schools that we might have missed in the shout out. And Michael, take it away.
Thank you, Michelle. Welcome, everybody. Phones, tablets, laptops, whatever you've got, license, a permit, state ID for a number, or the last 4 of your social, and here we go. Thank you, Google, for highlighting voter registration today. You want to start by going to MN Votes. That's MN for Minnesota, votes.gov, government security. Enter it, and you should see a picture of folks voting in the office of the Minnesota Secretary of State. If you're on a phone, you'll scroll down to reach the next link that we're going to click on, which for those you can see here online is Register to Vote Online. It's underneath the clipboard and the title Register to Vote. You want to click on Register to Vote. Oh, sorry, online. Back to that. And There we go. And you're on page 1 of a form that takes about 3.5 minutes. We'll slow it down just a little to answer some commonly asked questions and tell you what some of the little buttons are for. But page 1 is just 2 eligibility questions. Really simple, yes or no. And by the way, if you're not eligible, that's okay. You will be eventually, most of you. And if you're not even interested today, that's okay too. You're going to find out how quick and easy it is, and you're going to see people all around you pre-registering and registering to vote. So, are you a U.S. citizen? And I am. And are you at least 16 years old? And if you're going to be old enough to vote, will you be 18 years old or older on election day? Just 2 questions on page 1. That's it. 2 yes or no's. Hit next, and you are on the second page. This is all about you. Who are you? You don't need to put, I put a first name. I'm going to put a middle initial. No periods if you want to put a middle name or a middle initial. Last name. If you have a suffix like junior, you put it in that last box. You don't need this little button here. It's only if you're registering after changing your name. Birthday, month, day, year. Then we have that ID number. So your license or permit or state ID number will begin with a letter and then have 12 digits. And if you don't have that number, while the others are filling it in, you'll see this link right up above that says, I do not have a Minnesota ID, or you don't have it on you. You can put in the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. So that ID number helps confirm who you are. That's one of the 2 things you have to prove when you're registering or pre-registering to vote. And then contact information. You do need an email address. They're only going to use it if there's a question on your pre-registration or registration. And if you want to put your phone number, you may, you do not have to. After that email address and or phone number, if you want, click that next button. Now this is where you live. This is the second thing that you have to prove when you register to vote. The little checkbox at the top is if you would like your ballot mailed to you every time at your Minnesota residential address. So I'm going to say yes, because I work on election day. Start with your zip code. The county has already provided all of the streets and house numbers within the zip code. So we start with that zip code, then your house or building number. And if your house number has a suffix, if it's like 4.5, then you would use the suffix for the half part, or 4 east. For that building number, that's what that house number suffix is. And then you'll see that the streets in that zip code is a pull-down menu. Choose it. If you live in an apartment or anything with a number for your space, that's what this button is for. The first box is what you call it. Is it number 17? Is it apartment 17? Whatever it is, choose it. And then click to the right and you'll see the space to put the actual number. Underneath is a button, and it's only if you're registering or pre-registering again after changing your address. Since most of you are doing this for the first time, don't worry about it. Next button leads you to a review. All you have to do on this page is read your information that you typed in to make sure it's accurate. Most people can get mail at their address, not if they choose to have a post office box because they get so much junk mail, but there are some addresses where you cannot get mail, and the post office says you must come to this post office box that we're giving you. That's what that button in the middle is for. And the last page, click next. here is a certification, an oath that says that you're telling the truth. You are eligible to pre-register. You haven't had your right to vote taken away. And if you agree with all of those, you've got a checkbox, and then your signature is just typing in your full name. When you're done with that, click submit. I'm not going to do it because this was fake, but you're going to see this. Your voter registration application has been received. And then you'll get a postcard in the mail. And if you are 16 or 17, when you are registered at 18, you'll get that postcard in the mail. If you didn't do it today, it's easy to do. Thanks a lot. Let us know if you have any questions at mnvotes.gov.
Thank you, Michael.
And now we're going to go back to Pete.
All right. I'm going to hijack Pete's spot just for a minute here. And I want to, with the chat, I want to look at a few more schools have entered. We've got Red Wing, Tower View, ALC and Red Wing. Minnetonka Momentum is here. Thanks for doing this. New Century School, Edison, Mankato East. Awesome. All parts of the state. Minnetonka High School, I think that's where we started. So wonderful. Thanks everyone again for being here. And we're going to close out with Teacher Pete.
What's up? All right, so remember, Minnesota is often the #1 turnout state in the country. Let's keep it that way. On behalf of Blackduck School and all the sponsors of this event, thank you for taking the time to register to vote, and I'll see you in that better future you guys make with your votes. Now, for the 3 words we've all been waiting to hear, back to class.